Professor, I wanted to talk to you first about the competition itself, just to see if you could describe, how, why you put it together and how students get involved in it.
Sure. Maybe I could tell you a little bit more about what it is, and then I could
Right.
funnel down to. So we're a 501c3 educational nonprofit. I started back in 2013, and we're sponsored by the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. And I started it with a specific mission, which is to enhance students' understanding of fiscal policy. And the way that we do that, the way we achieve that mission, is with experiential education. So as you were saying, Bob, what I do at the beginning of every academic year, I put out a call to action to college students around the country. And I task them with stabilizing the national debt. So they work in the fall and the early part of the spring, they devise these plans. Then they send the plans to me. I pick the finalists and I fly them to DC. And then they present and defend their plans, like you were saying, before a panel of expert judges. And just to put a little fine tune on that, the specific goal that they have is debt to GDP. They take the federal debt as a percent of GDP, and they use what the Congressional Budget Office uses for their planning horizons, which is a 30-year horizon. So they stabilize it over that 30-year planning horizon.
So that would mean like keeping it around 100% of GDP where it is now?
Exactly right. When we started in the academic year, it was at 98%. So by the second quarter 2051, they have to figure out a way to get it back to that level, where the CBO projections by that period were closer to 200%.
And so you do the first draft yourself. What are the first, you score the first round. When the judges, well, I suppose you use the same criteria, but what's the criteria that you use and that the panel of judges uses? And by the way, people that listen to this program know some of the people who are judges. Diane Lim, who's used to be the Concord Coalition's chief economist years ago, and is the Economist mom, a frequent guest on this program. Bill Hoagland's another frequent guest on this program. Were a couple of the judges. So what is the criteria that they use in judging the plans?
Yeah, Diane's a great supporter of ours for many years. Judging rubric, 4 key characteristics. First, understanding the current fiscal situation, sort of knowing what's going on, knowing the current economic environment, etc. 2, depth and breadth of analysis. Then can they look through the academic literature and the policy think tank literature to understand what they're proposing? 3, creativity, not just reciting and regurgitating Simpson bowls for all of its virtues. And then 4 is presentation and teamwork. Those are the 4 that we use. And that, as you were hinting at, that's the rubric I use in the first round evaluation and the same rubric that's used in the final round.
I noticed something that I thought was interesting. If I recall, one of the admonitions to the students is not to appear on camera. The videos that they produce aren't supposed to be talking heads of themselves, but of something a little bit more creative. Is that right?
Yeah, anonymity. I modeled this competition off of another one, which has a similar name. It's called the Fed Challenge, sponsored by the Federal Reserve, focuses on monetary policy. And they have the same type of structure as well, where what I really would like to do is make sure that the students' presentations, the content is what matters, not what school affiliation or any other identifying characteristics. So when the students come in, they can't even wear like school ties, school colors. I really wanted to be only about their content. To give the students a moment to think about that, I just wanted to comment on the point that Bob just made about the students and the commonality. Forgive me, but there was 2 things that I've been noticing over the last couple of years, which is a structural change. And that is more and more the students are focused on the social issues as opposed to just the prototypical Social Security healthcare. That's one. That's structural. Been going on not since we started in 2013, only about maybe the past 4 years or so. But then 2, this was the first year where we're really focused on economic growth, and maybe that's more cyclical given the state of where we are right now.